I think we should probably get started. Well, I guess we could take, can we take item 1? Sure. Why don't we do that at least? Okay, good morning, everyone. And welcome to Trade, Commerce, and Tourism Committee. It's Wednesday, July 21st. And I'm Councilwoman Hahn. I get to chair this great committee. I am waiting for the arrival of Councilmember Tom LaBonge and Councilmember Bill Rosendahl. We do not have an ETA, but I think we should get started since I know there are many of you who are here for item 2. We have a stack of cards of those of you who would like to address this commission. So why don't we start? We'll take item 1.
Under item 1, the Board of Airport Commissioners submits for council approval a lease and modification of settlement agreement with Syncro Aircraft Interiors Incorporated. This is for the use of 7.65 acres located at 7701 Woodley Avenue at Van Nuys Airport. And the lease is for a term of 2 years, beginning on February 11th, 2010, and ending on March 31, 2012.
Okay. Tell me what we have here.
Good morning. This is just an old hangar, and we are going to extend the lease so that it matches. There's 32 acres altogether, and we wanted to match the expiration dates for both leaseholds. One was Raytheon and one is Syncro, so that we can look at development of that whole site. And that's why it's such a short term. Okay.
So after both sides agreed to settle their lawsuits, it was agreed that Syncro would end their lease?
Yes.
What changed?
This went into litigation some time ago. The owners who were the primary parties to the litigation both passed away. In the meantime, the gentleman who took over Syncro has worked with the airport and been very supportive and cooperative on anything that we've asked him to do, including some physical improvements to the building. So we've been happy with them, and for such a short period of time, we wanted to go ahead and extend the lease.
Okay. You're okay?
Yep. Andrea Mills, CAO, we support approval.
Okay, good. All right, then, without objection, we will, and maybe if the other council members come, we can send this forward with a recommendation. Thank you very much.
Are you going forward with 2 or?
Is there anything else we should take? Okay. Why don't we take the harbor 3, 4, 5, and 6?
Under item 3, the Board of Harbor Commissioners submits for approval the First Amendment to an agreement with California Cartage Corporation, which is for the use of approximately 85 acres in the Harbor Department's Wilmington Classification Yard for the operation of a warehousing and loading facility. The amendment would remove temporarily a total of approximately 7 acres from the leasehold and would also allow for reinstatement of deleted premises as long as specified conditions are met without further action by the board or by council. Also, the lease would revise the rent accordingly and would correct the tenant's name on the file.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Councilmember. Mike Christensen, Director of Development for Port of Los Angeles.
Okay, so this is an amendment to the lease with Cal Cartage. You're temporarily removing 7 acres to sort of give them a break on their rent with the condition that they get it back if they request it. What's the deal?
Councilmember, this is actually at their request. They had some discontiguous pieces at the north end of the property that they weren't using.
Okay.
So they asked if we could pull that off of their lease, cut their costs, and allow them to go forward with a little lower cost structure.
And I understand that they've already requested the property back. Is that correct?
Haven't heard that.
You haven't heard that?
No.
Okay, I heard that. Okay, so what's the total credit that they're getting on their rent?
Hold on a minute. $501,000.
Okay. Serious credit.
So we can check with them and see what if they might want it back
Okay.
early. But with that,
So this-
we wanted to get that savings to them as well.
Okay, and I know we've been working a long time to try to relocate Cal Cartage. What's the status of that? Are they going to be relocated to the SCIG, or what's the
We're
deal?
moving forward with a plan, council member, that would have them in an area that's presently being used by Alameda Corridor Transportation Authority south of the site. It's a little smaller piece of property, but it's fairly well located. So that's Plan A.
And they're
I
happy
think
with
we can make
that?
work. I think it's a little less property than what they wanted, but we're just having difficulty finding a piece big enough, close enough
Right.
to the harbor.
Right. Okay. Well, this again, you said this was their request, so we'll approve this.
Thank you.
Under item 4, the Board of
Actually, I was
Harbor...
going to take 4 and 5 on consent,
Okay.
and then so let's take 6.
Under item 6, as submitted by the Board of Harbor Commissioners, we have continued consideration of the Fourth Amendment to the agreement with Environ International Corporation to prepare the EIR for the planning, design, construction, and operation of the Southern California International Gateway, also known as the SCIG. The SCIG is a near-dock intermodal rail facility proposed by Burlington Northern and Santa Fe Railroad, a facility to be located on port property. The amendment would extend the contract term by 12 months from October 27, 2010 to October 26, 2011, to allow sufficient time for completion of the EIR work, and would also increase compensation authority by $700,000 for a total contract amount of $4 million.
Well, okay, so last time when I saw this, it just struck me that part of our spirit of cooperation would suggest that when we're doing EIRs that we have these ongoing meetings with the appellants, and we work towards a better spirit, ultimately better documents at the end. We don't wait till the end to drop 1,000-page documents on the community. I understood that no meeting had taken place, so that's why I held it to try to see if I could push for cooperation with the community. So has that meeting taken place?
Yes, council member. In fact, and your suggestion is well taken. In fact, a few days prior to the last TCT meeting, we had actually had a discussion in the EIR subcommittee and had laid out some of the terms and the schedules. We engaged some of the appellants and also a broader group, and decided we would try to make this outreach to through the PCAC, given that these two projects were actually excluded from the TRICAC MOU. So
Right.
I met personally with the full PCAC last night.
How'd that go?
It went well. We had, I laid out our schedule, talked about some of the issues that are coming up. We had a good dialogue.
What were some of the concerns that were raised?
Some of the concerns were the cumulative impact, a lot of questions about the timing. When is the document going to come out? There were the same kind of issues that we had heard previously, impacts to the neighborhood, air, traffic, noise. And so all of those are in the analysis phase right now. We committed we would come back to the group and give them, especially as we get closer to the release date and get more data, hard data, that we'd come back to these groups and have more discussions.
Right. And I just know for me personally, I know there's this project, while it, makes sense to have near dock facilities, we like getting these, trucks off the freeways, but I think for the community of Wilmington, the concern was always sort of how do you get into this facility, how do you get out of this facility, how does it impact that community? Are these trucks going to be clean trucks? I remember at one point David Freeman talked about all these trucks being electric trucks. So how are we doing on particularly the ingress and egress of this facility? And what kind of trucks will be calling on this facility?
On the SCIG facility, the ingress and egress is on the south end. The primary route would be up the Terminal Island Freeway, exiting onto PCH and coming in, possibly some coming up Alameda Street and looping back onto PCH. The type of trucks, at minimum, as I told the group last night, at minimum, this is a CAP-compliant lease. At minimum, it's trucks conforming to the Clean Truck Program.
Right.
But beyond that, we have to see what the health risk analysis tells us and whether there is an impact from the trucks as to how we would clean that up. Then beyond that, it's going to be a negotiated issue. In fact, we're within days, I think, of having some of the health risk analysis information, and we can go from there.
Good. And you've committed to continue this dialogue with PCAC as your vehicle of choice.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Anything else? Mike, are you here to say anything?
I was here for number 4, but you did it on
Oh,
consent.
okay, even better. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate this. Like I said, I just, in the spirit of our new MOU with the community and EIR and documents and projects, I really wanted to make sure that I don't mind nudging and pushing if I have to, but I appreciate that happening in the last 2 weeks, and I would encourage that to keep happening. In my opinion, we'll end up with better documents, we'll end up with better projects, and we'll end up with a port that can grow and can grow green. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll recommend approval. Did you have something to say?
No, I recommend approve. This is a continuation from the last
Okay,
meeting.
okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we'll take up item 2. Are you just throwing these at me? Okay.
Under item 2, the Board of Airport Commissioners submits for council approval 3 separate board orders approving the second amendments to the concession agreements with Super Shuttle, Prime Time Shuttle, and Roadrunner Shuttle, respectively, to extend the terms up to a maximum of 12 months, expiring on July 31, 2011, for the operation of shared ride van services to and from LAX. And this is pending the implementation and completion of a
Right.
request for proposals process.
You know, what I would like to do is start with public comment. So even after you listen to public comment, that might be something you might address in your comments. And I know Bill is 5 minutes away. We haven't heard from Tom yet? No? Okay. So why don't we start with public comment on this item? I have a lot of cards here. I haven't counted them. But it's 9 o'clock. We have a 10 o'clock council meeting. So what I thought I would do is limit each public comment to 1 minute. So get your thoughts in order. I know a lot of you have come a long way to speak today, and I usually like to allow people, full 3 minutes. I think that's just virtually impossible this morning. So I'm going to give each of you a minute, and we'll ask you when the buzzer rings to wrap up, because I want to be fair to everyone. I haven't exactly separated these into folks who are in favor of these contracts versus those who are opposed to these contracts. So you may be sitting next to someone who is on a different side on this issue, but I'm going to try to be fair again and let each of you have a minute. Try to wrap up your thoughts when the buzzer buzzes. And if you feel like something's already been said, feel free to take a pass, and we'll move the meeting along even quicker. Okay, so on this item, I have, and what I'll ask for is, I guess there's 3 microphones up there, or there's 4 seats, though. Is there 4? Oh, yes, thank you. There's 4, so I will call up in 4s. So sit up here and be ready to address the committee. Okay, I have Alex Ricker, Eric Verduzco, Chattel Bradley, and Edward Friend. Take a seat. Okay. go ahead. Go ahead.
Good morning, Councilwoman. My name's Eric Verduzco. I'm the Executive Director of the South Bay Latino Chamber of Commerce. I'm here to speak this morning on behalf of our Board of Directors and nearly 400 chamber members, many of which are from the City of Los Angeles, from the Wilmington and San Pedro area. This morning we're asking that you block the extension of this contract. Our Chamber of Commerce applauds the Council's willingness to boycott Arizona-based businesses for obvious reasons. And we're afraid that the extension of this contract would set a very negative precedent to the rest of the state of California. We ask that you uphold the spirit of this boycott and instead vie for a California-based local business.
Thank you.
Good morning, Councilwoman. My name is Shadell Bradley, and I'm representing myself as a employee for Super Shuttle. I am a single parent, and I'm a provider of my home, and I just hope that you would take in consideration to keep us going strong. Super Shuttle has been very good to its employees as one of its employees, and I'm just here to make my plea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, hi.
Pull your microphone up.
My name is Edward Friend. I have been an employee of several transportation companies that have been concessionaires at LAX. I am opposed to any restraint of the business of a private entity for the sake of political correctness. My two children are attorneys who don't have any standing in this matter. But, however, the Fourth Amendment, I believe, to the Constitution precludes any government agency that taking any action that restrains trade of a private entity. And on that basis alone, I think that this action is really unfounded. So I support the continued activity of the transportation concessionaires.
Thank you.
On that basis.
Thank you very much. Ms. Rooker.
Alex Rooker. First
Oh, yeah,
Vice-
let me just say, for everyone, please speak right into the microphone. We have an overflow room where people are listening, so make sure when you come up here, you take that microphone and you speak right into it. Thank you.
Alex Rooker. I'm the first vice chair for the California Democratic Party. I'm also with labor with CWA, Communication Workers of America. And, I understand what this gentleman is saying, but when you don't play by the rules, I don't think you should be. It's not about constraining businesses from continuing to do business. When you don't follow the DBE, which I think in this diverse, great city of Los Angeles, if you cannot come up with 14%, which is such a low, we really need to raise that limit. I think that's just a flagrant thumbing their nose at this city by not following the rules. And the other companies have to follow the rules. That is not fair. If I don't follow the terms of any contract I sign, I'm gone. And that's happened to these other companies in the past. And Super Shuttle, we cannot say they're too big to fail. That is not acceptable. They violated that process. They're probably in the application of it, so they probably are not, even if there was a RFP today, they would not qualify because they have not met their DBE process. So why reward a company that does not follow the rules? Let's reward a company that follows the rules, that has their company here based in California, that hires all Californians, and I believe Primetime has said they would absorb all these workers so these workers would not be without a job.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I don't think what the argument is here.
Thank you very much. Okay, next four people. Dominic Brown, Martin Trejo, Sharzetta Lee Bhatti, and Joseph Varada. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Dominique Brown. I'm here on behalf of myself. I feel you guys should grant us the renewal of our Super Shuttle contract with the LAX because it's a lot of us that work there, and if you take it from us, how are we supposed to support our families? we're already on hard times as it is right now, and if we don't have a job, it's going to be even harder for us to support our families. Some of us are single parents, some of us just have a single household. It's hard. So if we don't have that means with money or anything, how are we supposed to live? I literally live paycheck to paycheck. So it's hard for me just having a job. So without a job, it'll be even harder. And like I said, if paycheck to paycheck, we never know if we're going to be homeless because of this that's going on. So I think you guys should just grant it for us, not just because we're pleading, but because we really need jobs. And it's a lot of us. So
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Charzetta Lee Bati. I am shop steward for LAX Airport with local Teamsters 952. I do believe that they need to extend the contract for us. I also believe that without Super Shuttle, I probably would be homeless. I've been with the company for 7 years, and I thought California was creating jobs, not taking away jobs. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Joseph Varada. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Just a couple things. Super Shuttle is vital to the economy in LA. I mean, there's a lot of public interest issues involved in here, transportation. The other thing is, how are you going to encourage new business to come to LA or even California when you're basically taking a political issue and converting it into a business issue? Because this is what it comes down to. Sovereign state of Arizona makes a decision, passes a law, and now in Los Angeles, you want to punish business that supposedly is based in Arizona, when in reality, if you look in this room, everybody here is from Los Angeles. Myself, I'm from Los Angeles, grew up in this city. And my business, all the money I generate is spent in this community. And to use a political issue against us is wrong. And I think that basically the analogy I think of is this. If California passed a marijuana law and Arizona wanted to say, well, no, we don't like the law, we're going to punish business from California. That's wrong.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Martin Trejo. Been with Super Shuttle for the past 15 years, and I am the only person working in my house. Super Shuttle has been great for me. And I don't think it shouldn't be about any companies, but taking jobs away from the airport, you know, it's not right. We've done everything to provide for all the tourism. I'm pretty sure a lot of hotels will agree with that. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just got nervous.
That's okay. I get nervous every time I come in here. Okay.
It was you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next four, John Kint, Ratan Joka, Floyd Tryon, and Corey Boucher. Sorry if I'm wrecking these names. Your penmanship is not so good. Did I call up 4 people? Who's missing? Is John here? John Kint? No. Okay, then Tony Brown. Okay, go ahead and start. You want to start?
Good morning. My name is Ratan, and I am a small business owner operating Primetime Shuttle. It is a great city of Los Angeles. As you consider the contract extension request for Primetime Shuttle, allow me to express my gratitude of the opportunity and the support of the LAVA staff for the privilege of serving the traveling public in Southern California. I started my career as a driver and slowly worked my way up to owning my own business. My family and I have been fortunate enough to have the experience of owning our own business. However, it has been not easy. We have put long hours into the business day and night to make sure that we serve our community with as much satisfaction as we possibly can. We have been our best to provide quality service and go and give back to the community that has allowed us to prosper. As a young immigrant, I never, in my wildest dream, that I could have achieved such a success where my company would have served 5 major airports in Southern California today. Lastly, I just want to say, if I have just a few seconds, I just want to let you know, before it's our belief that we must look out for not only for this generation, for future generation, Primetime committed to 100% alternative fuel vehicles in our future.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Hahn, thank you. My name is Tony Brown. I represent Heart of Los Angeles, which is a youth serving agency over 20 years in Los Angeles, serving over 1,800 kids who are underserved and at risk, primarily out of the Rampart District. I say all of that to say that I've been working with Super Shuttle for, a number of years, and they have been an incredible community partner. I work with a lot of different agencies, from foundations, obviously, to some government support, but as far as a corporate community partner, Super Shuttle is incredible. You know, you go onto their website, for example, and they'll tell you all the stories of how they've helped youth organizations like ours, and I've seen it firsthand. The people are real. You know, it's not a shell of, oh, this is the community service we do. It's real. It actually happens. Kids are benefiting. They get our kids to camps. We're in a very dangerous neighborhood, to be honest with you. And for our kids in summers, when budgets are being cut, we need safe transportation to and from where we need to be. So I want to say that I support Super Shuttle, and I hope they stay in our community.
Thank you very much. And we have been joined by Councilmember Rosendahl. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Okay.
Bill, thanks.
I'm giving each speaker a minute apiece because we have a lot of speakers. Okay.
My name is Corey Boucher. I am the General Manager and Director of Sales Marketing for the new Holiday Inn in Hollywood by the Hollywood Bowl. Our hotel has been open 2 years, and we have been rated as a really top-performing hotel for the new Holiday Inn brands. To include that, Super Shuttle has been one of the most reliable fleet shuttle services for our hotel to transport guests from the airport, LAX, to Hollywood. Super Shuttle has been one of the only shuttle fleet companies that has been able to provide professional and timely service to our hotel in Hollywood. Most of our travelers are international and business travelers that use Super Shuttle going and returning to the airport. I would recommend that you extend their contract. Our hotel is top rated. Out of 280 hotels, we're rated at number 8 out of TripAdvisor. So Super Shuttle does pretty good with transporting our guests from the airport to the hotel.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Floyd Tryon. I'm a native California, born and raised in Los Angeles, a displaced aerospace worker that has been gainfully employed with Super Shuttle since '93, indirectly, and directly since 1999. After watching the news this morning and seeing my company on TV, I guess it kind of got to me that a company that's gainfully employed me, sustain my livelihood, should be susceptible to political turmoil or whatever on something that happens out of state. To listen at, I guess, the previous speakers speak of how, I guess, our contract and the other things are not in compliance, is still kind of outrageous to think that after going through a problem with the aerospace industry and yet can find employment with Super Shuttle, to have that taken away on something that's politically motivated from something outside of our state. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Antonio Gonzalez, Rick Taylor, Peter Brown, and Ratan. Oh, he did. Okay. He does not get 2 shots. Patrick from Teamsters. What's up? Okay, your penmanship is really bad. That doesn't even look close to that name. Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Councilwoman,
Good morning.
Councilmember. I'm Antonio Gonzalez, president of the William C. Velasquez Institute and the Southwest Voter Registration Education Project. It's good to be with you this morning. I sent you a letter last week urging you to not renew the Super Shuttle contract in accordance with the Boycott Arizona resolution that you approved several weeks ago. I commend you for that resolution. I think you're leading the nation in rejecting the apartheid regime, which will be implemented in less than a week in Arizona, if not stayed by the courts. I think it's very important that Los Angeles stand proud as the anti-Arizona, the counter-narrative that celebrates the inclusion of immigrants in our society and says it's not fair and we're not going to continue business as usual with the perpetrators of these policies that in essence create, again, I repeat, an immigrant apartheid, South Africa style, in our midst. I am sensitive to the employment issues, and I would point out to your attention that the same Teamsters local is represented in prime time, and I think this is a scenario where you can have your cake and eat it too. That is, work with the owners of the other entities that would receive the additional business taken from Super Shuttle to get a guarantee to continue the employment of these workers who should not be victimized by this contract change. But reiterate to you that the city has the right and authority to award contracts and should use that authority and so on. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
My name's Rick Taylor. I'm with Dakota Communications, a minority-owned company that's registered with the City of Los Angeles. Our company has to go through a pretty vigorous process that you all set up, and we go through it on a bi-yearly basis to make sure that we do qualify. We know that there are women and minorities who work for Super Shuttle. No one's questioning that. But the LA Airport report says 0 DBEs were part of that company. 0. For a period of time that I can't tell you if it's 8 months, 9 months, a year. But that's what it said. If they're in violation of their contract, you have an obligation not to reward them, in my opinion. We work hard in our company to make sure we follow the laws of this city. They're going to tell you today that now we're in compliance. Well, it's too late. You should have been in compliance from day one. We're a small company. They are a huge company. If we can do it, they should be able to do it. And I ask you to not give them a reward today.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Patrick Kelly, Teamsters Local 952. We represent folks at Primetime and at Super Shuttle. We've had a business relationship with Super Shuttle going back. I was involved in organizing the van drivers back in the 90s. And, of course, when 911 came, they changed their model, and we lost 300 members. We have about 40 members at the curb, and we have about 30 members with Primetime. We support immigration reform, but we do not support the efforts to bash a union company and kick these people to the curb under the guise of sending a message to Arizona. We're fine with sending a message to Arizona, but we believe that the consul needs to protect jobs here and not dump several hundred people. It will be a travesty. It is all it'll do is just show that under the guise of something that all these people are kicked to the curb, and it will make L.A. look bad. It will create a lot of issues, and I want to thank both of you two folks for your support of organized labor down through the years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you.
Good morning.
Brown,
it's not evening yet.
It was a long evening
I
last
know.
night. I'm here to say, to clarify a few things.
Yes.
The purpose of having the DBE is to maintain diversity. You can look in this room, and you can see these individual drivers, and in the next room, and you look at their faces, they're black, they're brown, they're Asian. Diversity exists, and it's not about registering or not registering. Their registration will not change the fact that they are women, that they're African Americans, that they are Latinos. Super Shuttle has always maintained a high level of diversity, which speaks to the credit of the DBE goals. They are goals, and Super Shuttle has always exceeded those goals. Second thing is the rumor of the Arizona headquarters. They are not headquartered in Arizona. They are headquartered in Chicago, in Lombard, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. That's where they're headquartered. Veolia Transportation owns them. That's where all of the decisions are made. That's where all of the corporate executives meet for these kinds of decisions. Another thing I'd like to point out is that 90 cents on every dollar that is generated through Super Shuttle stays here locally. To kick them out of LAX is to dismiss 90 cents of every dollar, $1.3 or $1.4 million that goes to LAX every year.
Okay.
And finally, I just would like to add, they've had the longest standing union contract paying working people before other shuttle companies, including Prime Time, for years refused to sign a contract. Super Shuttle was on board with union workers.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next four. Igor Vanto, Dbe Malik, Phil Reyes, and Eric Henry. Okay, go ahead. Whoever wants to sit down, we start.
I'll start. My name is Igor Vanto. I'm General Manager for Super Shuttle in Los Angeles, and I want to thank the Council for listening to me. Our company, true, we did fall out of the hitting the certified goal of 14%, but as Peter stated, we never stopped bringing these people on board, nor offering them opportunities to run businesses, be employees. None of that changed. When we were notified of this deficiency in the beginning of May, I rallied my troops and contacted all of my operators who are subcontractors and informed them of what the DBE is. A lot of the people didn't know. So we have a lot of new people who registered and a lot of old people who re-registered who were not notified that the registration had lapsed. For whatever reason, I can't explain what their actions were. They let their own certification lapse. But since it was their certification and not ours, we weren't notified of this lapse until May. From May through June, we have, as the gentleman earlier spoke, we have met the level. And
what percentage?
14, over 14%, 14.6. Okay, and then, so thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Council. My name is Phil Reyes, and I'm also a council member in the city of Duarte, representing myself. We've distributed about close to 20 letters from other council folks, people from El Monte, Pasadena, and other cities throughout the county, and more are coming that are really supportive of the resolution you adopted on May 12th, condemning the action in Arizona. If you Google, very quickly, if you Google residency, Super Shuttle International Headquarters, it says Scottsdale. Brad Street says it. 7, 8, 10 different websites say it. The evidence is there. Folks, there's a real big picture here. There's a lot of national groups supporting this. I'm a supporter of labor. I've always have been, of the middle class and underserved. I think we will work these out to both the vendors at the end of the day. But there's a big picture, and we really need to send the country a message. This Los Angeles is ethnic minorities. This is the new Ellis Island, if I may. And we need to send all our brothers and sisters throughout the country, especially in Arizona, that we're supportive of their actions and really stop this cancer before it continues.
Thank you very much, Councilmember.
Hi, Eric Henry. I'm a business representative from Teamsters Local 952. I represent employees both at Primetime Shuttle and Super Shuttle. I've had a great working relationship with Super Shuttle for the last 10 years. I just want to piggyback on some of the comments that their employees have made so far this morning. Super Shuttle has been the type of employer that has really tried to protect jobs for their employees. I've gotten calls from them to where if there's several employees that had attendance issues, as you know, if there's an issue that someone could be terminated, they brought them all in. We had a conversation. They wiped the slate clean. They've made sure that single parents who've had rides home, when it's 2:30 in the morning and there's no buses running, they've consistently kept me in the loop. There's never been any adversarial relationship. They've just been a wonderful company to work with, and it's pretty hard for the Teamsters to sit here and say that because, as you may know, we don't always have a great working relationship with all our employers that we deal with.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Dbe Malik. I'm from Pakistan. I'm currently driving Super Shuttle for the last 2 years. And this is a great country. You know, I've been an author, inventor, entrepreneur. I love America. But in the last few years, this has been becoming a country for rich and powerful. And gradually, the poor people are being marginalized. I'll give you 2 examples. One is that I pay $5,000 a year as airport tax, and I can't get a clean bathroom. 800 people share 8 portable bathrooms for the last 10 years, cleaned once a day. Tell me, where's the dignity now? After so many years, now you're using me as a sacrificial lamb. I understand Arizona did it wrong, right? But if you want to really fight, resign your job. Say, as a protest, I resign my job. Why kill my job? You see? So you are really marginalizing the poor people. You're using me as a sacrificial lamb. I strongly recommend that we should keep the Super Shuttle in business because I was a primetime operator, all right? 90% of primetime employees quit within 3 months and they come to Super Shuttle. Why? Because they treat them like garbage.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Don Brewster, Thomas Martinez, Charles Sandlin, Dr. Clyde Williams, and that's the last 3. Okay, go ahead. Where's Dr. Clyde Williams? Okay.
Another committee.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Tom Gonzalez, and I'm here representing the director of League of United Latin American Citizens, a national civil rights organization. We have 700 councils in the country and 80 here in California, including in Los Angeles. We would like to urge the committee and the full City Council to reject the recommendation of the Los Angeles World Airports Commission to grant a new extension to Super Shuttle, a company based in Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, we earlier sent you a pack of information, and in it there are attachments that show exactly where the company is located. And you will see that it's Phoenix and Scottsdale. That's where their president is, that's where their director is, that's where all their business occurs. With regard to employment, you know, we don't want anybody hurt. We wish we could help everyone. This is a civil rights issue for us, and we urge you to please support this. We're hoping that the other folks will be hired by the other groups, and they've told us that they would. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hello, Councilman. My name is Charles Sandlin. I'm the owner of Roadrunner Shuttle and the general manager, and I want to thank the council for the opportunity to extend our contract. This year in 2010, Roadrunner Shuttle was named the California State Business of the Year for District 19.
Congratulations.
And, me and my father started this company 20 years ago. We've been working with Los Angeles. It's been a pleasure to serve you guys, and we look forward for another 20 years of serving you guys. I just want to let the council know these are 3 separate contracts,
right,
and 3 separate decisions to be made here.
Right.
However, the council decides this is a free market, and these people can paint their vans white, red, or blue and work for either one of these companies. We'd be happy to employ them. They are independent contractors. There will be not one job loss. And again, thank you again for the opportunity to serve the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. My name is Don Brewster, Vice President of Teamsters Local 952. I'm not speaking about the union stuff because my 2 predecessors have already done that. I was born in Montebello and raised on the east side of Los Angeles. That's my roots. It's the responsibility of elected officials, although I understand I'm not taking a position on what's going on in Arizona or in Mexico. That's their business. It's the responsibility of elected officials in the city of Los Angeles and the state of California to take care of their constituents, the people that live, breathe, eat, and shop in California. Okay? That's what the responsibility is. All this other stuff, I respect them, and I kind of, I agree or disagree on some of the solid points, But each one of you people have to look at these people that are sitting behind me in the other room, and with these people with the Google Maps, why don't you take Google Maps of where they live, because if this goes through, you can see all their property in their front yards. You can't even find a job at McDonald's these days. We have 50,000 people that are union construction workers in Los Angeles that are still out of work. The responsibility is to the people of Los Angeles, not Arizona, not Mexico. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll take one more. So Steve Martinez, and John Kent. Did he ever show up? I got a card and I don't think he spoke. Is he in the overflow room? John Kent and Steve Martinez. Okay, come on, come on down.
2 and 7.
Okay, you'll be the last speaker.
Oh, great. Yes. My luck today, right?
Yes.
Hello. How are you doing, Tom?
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Steve Martinez from Nuestras Calles Sueñan. And really, when I think about the city council and a lot of the good things you do throughout the city in hope of getting us out of this recession and looking at this whole thing, I'm not in support. I'm in support of supporting what the city council voted. You voted to boycott any business with Arizona. I believe we need to add teeth to that. When I grew up, I've been working with youth for 18, 19 years now. And I'm gonna just go on and say it. When you have a whole state attempting to stereotype that we've been fighting for 30 years since the 60s to take away from my community, from my kind of folks, me, myself, and I, my family. We need to support that and let Arizona know that there's ways to go against some of the issues they have concerns for, but to stereotype, to be ignorant towards my community is wrong, and we need to support the boycott and not give them any contracts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we're also joined by Councilmember Tom LaBonge. So airport staff, would you like to come back up to the table? And I just want to thank everyone who took the opportunity to come down here and voice their opinion on this matter. I will tell you, as far as myself, I can't speak for my fellow council members, but I do know that we listen, we take into account what everyone says, we take into account what our airport staff is recommending. So I think your voices are always welcome, and your voices are certainly heard in this committee for sure. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Debbie Bowers, Commercial Development Group at Los Angeles World Airports. Before you, we have 3 separate motions for 3 different shuttle providers at the airport, Super Shuttle, Prime Time, and Roadrunner. And we're recommending that you pass this extension for 1 year only, and that will give us time to prepare an RFP for these type of services.
Are we working on the RFP right now?
Yes, ma'am.
And when do we expect that to be out?
I'm hoping the last quarter of this year.
More specifically, a month?
No, it'll take us a little longer than that. I can try to get it.
No, I mean, which month?
Oh, which month? I'm sorry. I would hope that we could have it out in November. And maybe before.
And then when do you think you would be able to award new contracts?
It would be in February or March of the next year.
Okay.
2011.
So if this extension goes, this would run until
we award the new contract.
Until you award the new contract.
Yes.
Not the full year necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Okay. And that will be specified in this extension?
We have a 30-day out clause in the contracts.
Okay.
So we do have the opportunity to terminate them and when we award the new ones.
Okay. Clearly, we've heard a couple things here today. I think the issue, I haven't necessarily heard comments about the level of service that's provided by either Primetime, Roadrunner, or Super Shuttle. We've heard, hotels speak of a good service. We've heard of union representatives saying they have good working relationships with the shuttle services. But we've heard two issues I think are coming forward today. One is certainly the city of Los Angeles took a very bold and controversial stand when we voted to basically boycott the state of Arizona. And we, in the city of Los Angeles, asked our city staff to come back and begin looking to terminate contracts of businesses that were located in Arizona where feasible. We knew that not every contract that was located there would be reasonable to end, but we did want to do more than just have a symbolic boycott. We wanted to put some teeth behind it. We wanted to stand up and say we felt that was wrong. We are an international city, and we believe that everyone should be treated with respect and dignity. We believe that was not going to happen in that state. Now, this policy transcends to our proprietary departments, the airport, DWP, harbor, but part of our policy, I believe, told our proprietary departments to sort of take your own policy in regard to this and tell us, which contracts you felt were reasonable to terminate. Has that happened at the airport? Do you believe that the commission has taken that kind of action?
To set a policy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have yet.
Have any of you looked at contracts in, Mark? You have something to say on that matter?
That's all right.
Councilwoman Mark Adams, Los Angeles World Airports. Normally, in the case of living wage, equal benefits, and other times, we've waited for the board has waited for the council to adopt an ordinance so we could adopt the same ordinance. Since the ordinance for the Arizona policy is still pending, the board hasn't taken an action for that reason yet. That doesn't mean we're not looking at the policy the council has adopted and trying to live within the spirit of that policy, but that's why the board, nothing's been put before the board at this point.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for my fellow council members. That's a little disappointing to me. I think you pretty well, very clear knew, what our policy wanted to be and wanted to look like. So I would hope that the airport would look at that policy as if it, the ordinance.
I understand, and the staff is looking at the policy as a policy of the city.
Right.
But you asked specifically about the board action.
Right.
And I said the board action would
Right.
usually follow the adoption
Right.
of the council ordinance.
Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to.
Not technically, no.
Right. Okay. So that's one issue, is whether or not the Super Shuttle actually is a business based in Arizona, and whether or not the policy would apply to the airport department. So those are kind of two issues. The other issue that came forward was the DBE requirements. Now, are these requirements, goals, something that you can be out of compliance with, or is it just, something we strive to accomplish? What happened here, and why is there a suggestion that Super Shuttle was out of compliance, so to speak, for 18 months?
Karen Tozer, Procurement Services. This is a little bit of a complicated contract in that it is looked at as a concession agreement, so it falls under federal regulations. And at the time of the contract award in 2004, there was no airport concession DBE program, so it fell under the DBE program. At the time of the RFP, Contract Services, it was then Contract Services, reviewed the RFP. They looked at the size of most of the large local shared ride vans and determined that the previous contract had a 10% goal, that they had grown substantially, and so that a 14% goal was not inappropriate. Both Primetime and Super Shuttle, when they submitted their proposals, pledged that they would meet that 14%, and they both passed the good faith effort. Subsequently, Super Shuttle did have a number of drivers that went through the certification process through the Office of Contract Compliance, and they were compliant until such time as a lot of those certifications lapsed. At the time of the First Amendment, which was approximately 1 year ago, many of the drivers had resubmitted renewal and recertification applications. And again, pursuant to the federal regulations, contract services gave them the benefit of the doubt that they were going to comply, and found and counted those drivers as being DBE drivers. Subsequent to the award of the First Amendment, for whatever reason, those drivers did not pursue the remainder of the certification requirements. And because we track their participation on actual circuit trips, we did not realize that that had not happened until this contract amendment came up and we verified that the drivers were still certified, and that's when we discovered that they were not still certified. They are sent notifications. They're sent 2 notices of a need to renew, after which they also are attempted to be contacted by telephone, and after which then they get a notice that they will be lapsed. So there was a transition period approximately 1 year ago. But the failure to complete the process is what has rendered Super Shuttle as a 0% participation at this point in time. What I can tell you is that Super Shuttle themselves has really stepped to the plate and worked with their drivers to encourage them to go through the certification process. As of last night, 38 were certified, not just as DBEs, but as minority businesses, women businesses, DBEs, and airport concession DBEs. There are 2 more that are ready to be certified pending a site visit, so that would bring the total to 40. There are 12 files that have requests in for additional documentation, and 5 new applications were received yesterday. So assuming all complete the process, there will be 57 owner-operators certified as DBEs.
And what percentage is that?
It would be well in excess of 14%. I would estimate probably in the 20% range, but it's hard to tell because, again, it's counted by the actual number of trips that a DBE driver does in comparison to the total number of trips. We track it through our AVI system, our automated vehicle.
But you had none of this information or
we had
before the commission when they took this up 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
but you're telling me last night, it was as late as last night, you got some paperwork.
Well, no. Last week we had an update last week that was fairly close to this. I asked for the Office of Contract Compliance to give me an update, close of business yesterday, so I would have the same timeliness of information for you today.
But there was some that were added.
No.
Oh, no. Okay. So
there were 5 new applications received yesterday, but there are no additional certifications from over last week.
Okay. Well, I think the system is broken, frankly, the way we do it. I really do. And I'd like to, whatever is the outcome of these amendments, I would like for us to have a much better way of meeting these goals. I think the company needs to take more responsibility than just putting all that burden on the driver. I think the company is the one that we award the contracts to. It's the company that is the brand name that speaks for who does business, in the city of Los Angeles. So I think the system is really broken on how we meet these goals. And these goals are important to us. These are very important in the city of Los Angeles. I mean, we are a diverse city. We want to make sure that the companies we do business with really share that spirit within their company. So no matter what comes out of this, I want to figure out how we mend this broken system. I got some more questions, but I know you guys probably do
If I
too.
could just take off of that
Yeah.
issue about broken thing. I think staff, Lawa and everybody, we need to be more proactive, okay? A lot of the folks driving vehicles and a lot of folks who spoke just now, especially that Pakistani guy, that really hit me pretty hard, the way he phrased it all. It's us doing the proper outreach and the explaining and the discussion, because there's a lot of fine details in our bureaucratic stuff. And a lot of people don't understand all that. And I think in good conscience, if the room wasn't reflecting what I'm seeing here, it'd be a different story. But in terms of the local hire and the union and the people and the diversity, the women, the minorities, it's stellar. It's great. It's just a matter of us tying ourselves closer and explaining. I think it's more that kind of a broken system that the chair's talking about than it is something maniacal or particular and peculiar or any of that. So that's about all I have to say. I frankly want to go forward and renew these as they are and move to the next issue and see what happens over the next period of time. The Arizona issue, God bless that whole politics of that. I just think when it comes to people's lives, and we're dealing with our own people here and the people there, I just don't think we should be meddling over extending our metal. So.
Extending our metal, that's a good one. Okay, Mr. Bond.
The airport department thinks it's important to extend these contracts now. Okay. In the preceding months, which would be within a year from now, you may take up the wider range of questions that this council or your commission may have as it relates to who would be eligible to receive a contract from the city of Los Angeles. But in the interest of the people of Los Angeles right now, and people who visit Los Angeles International Airport, you think this is a service that is a quality service, that is doing a good job, that could continue. Okay, so that's what you support. I think it's very important that we, in all these issues here, realize that we are one country in the United States. And unfortunately, the state of Arizona does have a belief that they voted on that they think is real important. And I think it's real important too, but I want the federal government to challenge that. I want the federal government to challenge it because we're citizens of one country, not of different states. Arizona is important, but I do not think it should be to the point, Ms. Hahn and Mr. Rosendahl, that we would say, because we're absolutely all intertwined. Today, city workers are working in Arizona to bring water to Los Angeles. City workers are working in Arizona to bring power. We think that is important. I don't know, has anyone in this room called Super Shuttle in Scottsdale, Arizona, and asked them what their opinion is of 1070? Because I think we should call them and ask them what their opinion of 1070. Because any modern business in this country, I believe, would have an open vision that may be different than what the state governor and the state legislature passed. I called, just to let you know, the council member of the 4th District and the council member of both Tucson and of Phoenix when we had this whole big debate, because I want to know what they think. I don't know them from anyone. I just called 4th District. The woman who represents the 4th Ward in Tucson as a border state does not like 1070, feels it could hurt the Tucson. The gentleman in Phoenix was a minority of 5. The vote was 5-4 by the city council to oppose 1070. He's a gay man. He feels discriminated against, and he felt he should reach out with his the diversity of what 1070 would affect. I feel that same way too, that we should reach out. But is this the vehicle that's going to change Arizona's thinking? The change in Arizona's thinking is listen to Bill Richardson, who's the governor of New Mexico, and even our own governors, that the border governors have a voice in what takes place in this particular issue here. So as it comes to this issue, we still have to fight forward on issues. And I love Arizona. It's a beautiful state, but I think that's a bad law. But in this particular case here, the airport administrators say it's important to move forward with this for the public, and this company that's operating, all 3 of them, are doing a quality job. If we do that. But I ask two things. I challenge everybody in this room, including myself, write a letter to the President of the United States, write a letter to your congressional representatives, tell them to deal with the issue of immigration. With a frustration that, at least talking to people in Arizona had, they felt there was nobody doing anything, so they did it themselves. And we are a country of many diverse people, of many states, but at the same time, I think it's a bad law. But we're not here for that law. We're here for the service of the people of Los Angeles. And in the future, Madam Administrator of the airport, forgive me for not calling your name out as you write down your notes so copiously,
Debbie
that you look at that, Debbie Bowers, that you look at that as an important value for Los Angeles, because we are intertwined. I'm thinking, how many planes get serviced in Arizona that land in Los Angeles? Should we say that planes that get serviced in Arizona not land here? I think that would be difficult, Mark, to do that. But I do believe in the justice issue, that it's a bad law that they have in 1070, all 17 pages of it, and that something should be done. But it's the federal government's responsibility, our responsibility to make sure it's safe.
Thank you.
To come in and out of Los Angeles. And if you
very
take any one of the shuttles, make sure you tip well. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, and I think the stance that we took on Arizona, and I believe it was the right stance. And again, we know that history has shown that boycotts do make a difference, and boycotts do sometimes change bad policies into good policies. The bus boycott in Montgomery, apartheid, the city boycotted South Africa during that time, and ultimately that changed that policy. So it's not just symbolic, it does work. What I'm going to ask, though, because one of the things we wanted to do was to not give our dollars to the state of Arizona. That was part of, we wanted to ban city travel. We wanted not to spend our taxpayer dollars, if at all possible, in that state. In terms of these contracts with Super Shuttle, with Primetime, with Roadrunner, do we in fact give them money, or do they give us money?
They give us money.
Okay.
And in fact, Super Shuttle gives us a little bit over $1.1 million a year currently. Primetime gives us $625,000. And
Well, there's no reason to laugh for that. It is on. That's dependent on the amount of the contract that we have awarded them. So they're not giving less because they want to give less. That's sort of all we allow them to give us under this contract.
Well, it's based on their trips or their
Right.
MAG, and because they were smaller when we awarded the contracts,
Right.
our MAG was lower.
Right.
And then Roadrunner gives us a little over $170,000 a year, and they're a much smaller company also.
Right. Again, this is an issue that I think we took a hard look at, and I will tell you, I felt that originally we were going to extend these contracts for 2 years, but I felt, considering a lot of the issues that were brought forward, that 1 year amendment was more reasonable. I expect us to get an RFP. I would like to ask staff to get that RFP out before the end of the year and look to award new contracts early next year, if possible. And I think this is a time when I agree we want to keep jobs here in Los Angeles. I would also ask the airport to move forward their own policy on looking at contracts, which ones are feasible to terminate and which ones are not, and begin to have your own policy in place, which was the council's wish for our proprietary departments. And I will tell you, again, I am not happy with, having a company be out of compliance. I don't even know if that's the correct word, since it's not exactly a rule. It's more of a goal, but it still is not how we want to do business in Los Angeles. So I would like to have LAWA with the Bureau of Contract Administration report back on a system of improving and surpassing the registrations for DBE operators. We need a better system in place. I'd like to have this back, before the end of the year. I think that makes sense. With that, would someone like
So
to?
moved.
You would like to move these contracts
Yes.
forward to the council? Okay, so moved. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry to clean up the fact that the council members are missing
Now.
You want to have the three members vote on the first issues?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so
Well,
moved,
yeah.
so moved, so moved.
Okay, do we have to do each one individual?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd like to continue item 7.
So moved.
Did you get the votes? You want to go
Yes,
through each?
this is for items 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm sorry, we haven't done 7 yet, but what are we doing on 2?
2.
Moving it forward
Yes, we
and
just
asking
moved it
for the
forward to the
reports
full city
back.
council.
Okay, so 1 through 6 then, approval.
Yes, so moved. Okay, and we're continuing to item 7. Okay, thank you very much.